I'm Lieutenant Colonel Colleen Froling, and I'm from Illinois. I'm here to watch this beautiful parade in tribute to the great troops that are serving our nation all over, aboard, all overseas, and stateside, and their families who stand back to support them. Thanks for all you do.
Give us a little bit of your background relative to how long you've been in the Air Force and how you feel about hearing here in Houston today.
Okay. 18 years served in the United States Air Force. I've been all over the United States and Japan. I have a background of a family that's very military tradition. 3 brothers active duty Marine Corps, and I am just very happy to serve my great nation. And my family serves too.
Excellent. And would you introduce your family for us, please?
Yeah, this is my son Ryan. He's a sophomore in high school. My husband Wallace.
Right.
Yep. We're all from Illinois originally.
You're from Illinois?
Yes,
Where
sir.
in Illinois?
Kankakee area, south of Chicago.
I had a buddy in the Marine Corps from Kankakee. Tell us how you feel about today's event here in Houston honoring Iraqi veterans.
Well, we are so very proud. I did serve in Afghanistan, not Iraq, and I know how hard and sacrifice they do every day for the rest of their life. They'll have that in their heart.
How do you feel about what's going on in our country today relative to honoring our veterans and more cities coming out like this?
I think the patriotism in the United States is at all-time high. We feel support every place we go. We're currently in San Antonio, and of course San Antonio needs to be military friendly, and they are very proud to have the honor of having us on board our service. Very proud.
What would you like to see happen relative to our veterans? What are the kinds of things can we do as a country to honor our veterans?
I think just to remember them in any way, even on the streets, that thank you and handshakes mean so much to us as you move your family. My family's moved all over. And every couple of years, Ryan will end up going to 3 high schools before he graduates. And, my family takes a lot of sacrifice. So I would just like folks around the country to understand it's not just the memory. Your family, your parents, our grandchildren, that we have to keep for long periods of time.
And how would you feel about your son becoming a Marine? Would that make you feel?
Well, I'd be very proud of him, actually. Like I said, my brothers were Marines. Any area of the United States Department of Defense, even public health, is an honorable profession.
Tell me how you chose the Air Force. How did that happen?
That's story. Interesting. I was a mother. We had, how many kids we had at that time? 5, and it was kind of out of the box to think I want to join this service. I had my 3 brothers who served, and I was very proud of them. I visited my brother who was stationed in Hawaii, and he really did the recruiting thing on me, and I chose the Air Force because it's my favorite color.
And how old were you when you...
32.
32? That's amazing.
Yes, with 5 children.
And you will obviously, through recruiting or through climbing the ladder, move into the officer ranks. What is your rank right now?
Lieutenant Colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel. Whoa.
Yes, sir. And I'm up for Colonel next year. So.
Charles was a 04 in the Navy. Charles, any questions you might have for this young lady?
Well, just what would you say to people that are thinking about the military as a career?
I think that they have to take a step back and say, do I want to serve my country and make this commitment and go for it. If they feel it in their heart, then they do it. If they're wishy-washy, then they'll do it.
Excellent.
Because you have to make a complete commitment to your country. And you have to do many things that, of course, makes you very proud, but you got to make sure you do it for the right reasons.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. Let's say I was an employer, and I'm looking at a veteran, and I'm looking at somebody who has no military background at all. What would be the advantage of a veteran?
Oh, to employ? Unbelievable. There would be no comparison. Honesty, integrity, taking care of others first before yourself is always what's drilled in your head, and you believe it, and you feel it, and you do it every day. And you would hire a veteran, you'd hire an employee for life. It's totally committed.
Thank you.
One more question, sir. Would you help us with your observations on your wonderful wife? When she joined the Air Force at 32, you're obviously very proud of her in every way. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we were both working at Riverside Medical Center. Both of us were employed at the same place, and she came up with it after talking to her brothers that served. All three of them were at Desert Storm together, and they sort of put the bug in their ear, got into it, and she talked to the recruiter. And like she said, we had 5 kids at the time, so we didn't know whether we wanted to move, travel, or what. So I said, it's up to her, whatever you want to do. So she decided to get in. We've been on the road ever since.
But really a gutsy move at 32.
Gutsy move at 32.
I mean, that's huge.
32 with the family already, but everything turned out
That's great.
excellent. Got to see a lot of country.
Wow.
Met a lot of wonderful people.
Isn't that great being in the service and traveling? I mean,
I can't imagine having any other life at this time.
Exactly. Last question, young man. Tell us about your observations with your mother, and tell us about your kids in school, your peers relative to their observations on the military.
Well, people in the military are always active than people now, right?
Right.
So it just seems like everyone's always supportive.
Right.
Like, you know, join stuff, ROTC,
Right.
programs, they support it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we live on Fort Sam Houston, so the high school he goes to is all military kids. So, you know, there's like 265 in the school.
Exactly.
And, you know, it's pro-military no matter what.
Exactly.
But it's nice.
So you guys came over for the day from San Antonio.
Yes, we thought he loves the Astros, so I said, you know, for Easter we'll do that. Church tomorrow, though.
Are the Astros going to win today? I mean, that's the question I have. They
It was so close last night.
That's excellent. Thank you so much
Thank
for your
you,
time
sir.
and effort. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Tell me about your service in the Marine Corps and how you feel about being here today honoring veterans.
Let me start out by just being here today, if you don't mind. I'll start at the
Please.
end. I'm honored to be here. I mean, these guys, from what I did from when I was in my service, these guys, in my opinion, have had a longer time service in a combat zone, constant deployments, which I didn't have to see.
Exactly.
But I can, just from being in and having served over in places like Kuwait, Big Sandbox, whatever you want to call it, I know just being over there, even if you're not fighting, how miserable it can be.
Exactly.
And how it can just try on you day in, day out, especially the guys who have families back home and have gone through the multiple deployments in a combat zone. It just wears you down no matter what you do.
Absolutely.
My service started in January 13th of 91 and went through 95. My first duty station was actually in Guam, where I was in security forces.
Right.
From there, we did pumps all around the world. We went over to Kuwait to do Operation Native Fury, and shortly after that time was done, we rotated back to the States, and shortly after that's when I got out. But multiple deployments in different theaters of the world.
And you went through Pendleton or Paris Island?
Pendleton, excuse me.
Pendleton, okay.
I joined here in Texas.
Very good. If you would, please tell us about, from a spouse's perspective, how
She's my girlfriend.
Okay, well,
These are her kids.
if you would, just kind of talk to us a little bit about being here today and Joe and your relationship and your observations on the military.
Well, honestly, being with someone that has been in the service before, this is my first time of being anyone that was in the service, you learn a lot and respect our country a whole lot more.
Exactly.
And respect the people that are out there serving a whole lot more. And they're doing a great job. And they're doing the best they can for what they have. So much respect for all military personnel. My 2 uncles were in the Navy. So my family comes from a military background.
Excellent, excellent. Charles was happy to hear about your relative being in the Navy.
Yes.
And kind of interesting relationship.
My father was in the Navy. He was on the USS Boxer during Vietnam.
I was on the Boxer during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
He was on it during Vietnam.
Can you believe that? I mean, seriously, he said, you're the third individual I've ever talked to who's had someone who's been on the Boxer.
He was, I forget what he actually did. I think he ran the sprint shop aboard ship.
Really?
He said most of his cruise was like a big vacation.
Wow. Wow. I was stationed at Camp Lejeune, and of course, we got on the Boxer in Norfolk, Virginia, 34 days during the, but it was a fantastic experience. I mean, I wouldn't trade anything.
Exactly. All our veterans today, everyone deserves it. To give them a great thank you for what they do, the time out of their lives, everything they've spent, the hardships they've gone through, and the injuries that a lot of them suffer.
Exactly.
Everybody needs to remember that and think about it every day.
And Joe, that's what we're doing here, is honoring our veterans and taking this videotape and sending it to as many veterans as possible and helping them with jobs. These kids coming back with excellent military training, but they're having a tough time getting jobs, and that's what your thoughts on the military and how we can help them in the job.
As far as rotating back into civilian life, the biggest thing, I know they're going to be looking for jobs. Depends on what they like to gravitate to.
Right.
Some, like myself, which is tons and tons of veterans in law enforcement, which is what I do now.
Exactly.
If anybody, is interested in law enforcement or whatever, I urge them to go down and try.
Excellent.
I mean, if they want to get into this, it's serving again, a different capacity, but everyone that I know, I've been in law enforcement now for 16 years, and everyone I know, there's tons of veterans, whether it be Vietnam, Gulf War, in my time, the wars coming back from Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan.
Right.
If that's something to gravitate toward, look into it. It's not as hard as you may think.
Exactly.
It's good service. You'll have the same type of camaraderie as you did in the military. So it's kind of good. It's the same goals. You're goal-oriented when you're in that type of work. You meet a lot of veterans when you're in that type of work. And people that are willing to have been through some of your experiences that you've been through of being in the military and deployed, you're still with that same group of persons. So it's almost like a support group when you go into law enforcement, if that's what they decide to do.
Exactly. And that's one of the things, Joe, that Charles and I are doing is so many of our military have outstanding technical skills and they can apply them to the civilian environment.
Exactly.
But what we need to take is the military lingo and the civilian lingo and hook them together so that when the veteran is coming into companies, he's basically speaking the same language. That is so critical.
It actually is.
You agree?
And I agree, and it's a support group within whatever field of work you want to get into after.
Right.
I chose law enforcement because it was more of what I was used to when I got out.
Exactly.
It's not paramilitary, more or less.
Exactly.
You're in with a group of guys. I chose for a while to get on the tactical team that we had where I worked. I loved it because it was a training that I had done. I was used to a lot of it, and just experiences that I enjoyed doing. I could convert that over into civilian life.
Exactly.
That might not be for everyone, but it's an option.
Exactly. What advice would you have for our veterans who are watching this program?
As far as job opportunities or anything,
You just name it.
just remember, when you're watching the news or some of the stuff, don't believe everything you hear.
Right.
There are tens of thousands, if not millions of people in the United States that are behind you 110% and then some, and there's anything that any one of us could do for you, we'd do it. Just remember that. That's the number one key. You're not alone. There's always somebody there before you. And you might not even know it, the person you're passing when you're walking down the street.
Right.
They're there for you.
Precisely. Charles, questions for Joe?
I noticed the Wounded Warrior Project T-shirt.
Yes,
Would you address that a little bit and what you're doing with that?
Basically, though, the Wounded Warriors, I'm not a member as far as it, but whenever I can pick up a piece of gear in shops, and a portion of that money goes to the Wounded Warriors, I do that each and every time I can. Or anything that may contribute or send a portion of their money that they get from the sale of their items to Wounded Warrior or a number of different projects, I do that. I'm a member of course, NRA and a lot of other groups, Texas Rifle Association, that also have projects that help the veterans, whether it be wounded, whether it be housing, or whatever else.
And you're living here in Houston now?
I do live in Houston.
And you're the Houston Police Department?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't have permission to use what agency I'm with, so I was going to go ahead and do that.
Well, Charles had a lot of blackball stuff too, so we can't talk a lot about that. Any other thoughts, comments? You, young man, would be a wonderful Marine, and so would you.
And that's what
Are you getting some training to become a Marine? Look at the hat, Charles. You like the blue
I noticed.
hat?
They're here to learn.
This one comes out to the range
See.
quite often.
To get some information out of this.
Excellent.
Often as you can between school and everything else.
Are an expert both rifle and pistol?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Hear
sir.
that, Charles?
Absolutely.
Anything else for the good of the cause?
Nothing to think about.
Nothing I can think of off the top of my head.
We want to thank you so much for your service.
You're very welcome.
And looking forward to seeing you in the Corps, sir. And you, I love your hat. Thank you so much today. I appreciate
Y'all have
it.
a great day. Thanks for what you got.
I am a very proud Marine mom. I'm part of the Blue Star Mothers, and we help support the families and the troops. I'm very proud of all the guys. That's why I'm here. All branches of military. So it's a real honor to be here today to thank them, and it's well overdue.
And your son is stationed where right now?
Right now, he's at Camp Leatherneck.
Excellent, excellent. And his thoughts on being in the military today, share with us some of his thoughts relative to talking to you or
home.
Yes, I'm sure that's good.
You know, there's not, we really don't talk about a lot of that. You know, we just talk about his future and what's and how everything's going to be when he comes home.
Exactly. Well, you tell him second five for me.
Okay.
Could we get your thoughts, young lady? Young lady, did you notice that?
I noticed that, thank you.
Anything at all about what you might want to say?
Angela Nicholas, my son is Major Tony Nicholas. He will have been in the Marine Corps 20 years next month.
Excellent.
Proud Marine, loves it.
Excellent.
He's in Afghanistan right now, and I'm just so proud of him. And I'm so thankful that we have the opportunity to thank all our veterans. They don't get enough thanks. Them and their families. Their families really need a lot of support, and it's just a way of thanking them.
Well, you tell them separately, and thank you for your service. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And your thoughts, young man?
Oh, I'm just proud of my son, you know, being in the Corps. I mean, he's stationed in Okinawa right now.
Is he in Okefenokee?
He's in Okefenokee right now. He's not real happy of that because he got into a attachment or whatever where he's stuck there for 2 years, which he's been trying to go to Afghanistan, but he's there at Okinawa for 2 years. So he's a little bit upset about that, but he's getting over that. So anyway, but yeah, he wants to.
We're all dealt different hands. That's the key part. We all serve in our own way, and
that's it. So anyway, but
you tell him simplify for him.
Oh yes, sir.
Young lady, please, same thing.
Oh, this is an honor to be here. Just the fact that we get to first represent the Blue Star Moms, which we're a great organization that helps, like yourself, support the military. Our son is in the Marine Corps, and he is happy to be a Marine. He loves the Orient, and in fact is planning on re-upping to stay there.
Well, in these interviews, you find out a whole lot of things you didn't know before.
He wants to make a career out of the Marine Corps. We couldn't be more prouder of him and his choice. Again, we support all the branches of the military, but you know, Marines.
All right. What I love is you had pictures of your son.
Yes.
That's awesome. Tell us about the Blue Star Moms. I think it's a wonderful organization. Tell us about it.
I joined the Blue Star Moms because of Miss Adler here. Her son, again, like she said, is going to be in the Marine Corps for 20 years. So when our son joined the Marines, you know, of course, all I did was go online and read what it was about. But, you know, he was gone for 13 weeks, never been away from home, never been away from me. So there was a lot of times I would have to pick up the phone and say, hey, Miss A, you know, kind of down, blah, blah, blah. And learned a lot about what to expect, what they're going through. And then, you know, that's how we network as the Blue Star Moms. We help on a daily basis, and then we help the mothers, sons and daughters who are in Afghanistan, in Iraq, get through those times. Send out tremendous care packages.
Yeah, networked with Patriot Guard.
I'm a member of the Patriot Guard.
Are you? Okay, yeah, I was over there, and they came over there that time, so yeah, that was good. That's a good group.
Tell us about the Blue Star Moms, a little bit of history maybe, and what it is.
Blue Star Moms, anyone who has a son or daughter in the military, any branch, who is serving during a time of armed conflict, they are a Blue Star Mom. And you have probably seen some of these stars in windows. You're proud to show them off in your window, showing that you have a son serving during a time of crisis. And hopefully that star would not turn to gold. If you see a gold one, their hero has been lost.
It's a gold star mom.
Right, exactly.
And that is, you know, the mothers and fathers and all relatives who have a member of the military. I mean, we're just wonderful people, and that's why we're doing this right now, just to get your thoughts on it.
The Blue Star banner has been around since World War I.
Really?
But it was chartered in by Congress, I think it was in 1960.
Really?
So yeah, and we started seeing a lot of it during World War II, a lot more. Right.
My grandmother, if I could say one quick thing, how far back my family hasn't served in the military. My grandmother's, my uncles, at one time she had 5 blue stars in her windows.
Wow.
She had 10 children, and 5 of them at one time were all in active, different. One was in the Army, one was in the Coast Guard, one was everything but the Marines. Our son is the first one on both sides of the family to be.
Being with you today. Tell us a little about your son who's in the Navy. He went down that way.
Third class petty officer Scott McSpadden. He's aboard the USS Halliburton, and his prime mission is pirate hunting. And he's deployed to Somalia twice now, and he leaves again in August.
Pirate hunting. Boy, that's a
He was involved in the pirate takedown when they kidnapped the captain from the Maersk, Alabama. He was on that rescue.
Wow.
And he recently came home last August, and we did a big welcome home parade for him with the Texas Patriot Guard Riders.
Excellent.
I'm currently the co-president of the Texas Houston area Blue Star Moms.
Oh, you really? Well, I'm a member of the Patriot Guard Riders.
Oh, awesome. That's great.
Tell us about your son and your thoughts on being here today in Houston and how wonderful it is that we're honoring our veterans.
Oh, I think it's way overdue. In fact, me and one of the Houston Marine moms were pestering the city to see when they were going to do this, and we wanted to be a part of it, but they acted so fast. They didn't need us. We were thrilled. I really think that it's time that we showed especially the Vietnam vets, how much we appreciate what they do.
Houston's the second city to do it. St. Louis is first, Houston second, and I understand a whole bunch of cities are following our lead. Other thoughts you would have are servicemen, any advice you would give to moms who have members of the service or anyone who's going into the service?
Get involved. The more support we give those guys, the better. And if it's a care package, the Blue Star Moms, that's our primary duty, is to ship care packages over, whether it be Girl Scout cookies or socks, whatever they need. We've got chaplains that we ship to. We've got nurses that have contacted us and said we need sweats. So we went out and got sweats for them. And most of our contributions are from corporations or individuals. Every time we spend some money, we get twice as much back. The community's just been great to us, and we just appreciate being able to help them.
Just out of curiosity, how many Blue Star Moms are there in Houston?
The Houston area chaplain is the largest in the nation with almost 150 members.
Wow.
And that's associate members, which is dads, grandfathers, uncles, sisters, aunts. A mother is mother, stepmother, grandmother, and there are Blue Star Moms, and then we have our associate members.
I appreciate it. Thank you a lot.
All right.
My name is Ken Dust. I'm a United States Marine. Charles is a Navy veteran. We're here today because we're honoring our veterans as you are, and you mentioned that even though you did not have a chance to serve in the service, the least you can do is come out with a son to say thank you and talk about honoring your veterans. Could you talk a little bit about that for us, please?
Well, as I told you, during Vietnam, when I was in college, I had a high number of the draft and so forth, and I was never called, and I never went. I've always had a little bit of guilt about that, but I always have appreciated what everyone else does, and I just think of us living here every day, just living our normal lives, and all of our soldiers over there fighting for us. So I think it's really important for us all to be out here.
Well, as a Marine, I have the obligation to and responsibility to have you become an honorary Marine. If that's okay with you. Would you like to
that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Because I appreciate you being out here today. Tell us how wonderful it is that we're here in Houston honoring our veterans and why it's so important for us.
Well, I think it's important because I don't think most people realize what's happening every day around the world that our soldiers are going through.
Exactly.
And I know that after Vietnam, a lot of soldiers came back, and there wasn't much thank you for that. And I've just made it a point in my life to always preserve thank you. soldiers, I thank policemen, I thank all the public servants who do stuff for us, because they have hard jobs, and they aren't as appreciated as they should be.
And what is it that you would say to our veterans? What advice would you give them representing citizens of America? This is going overseas around the world. Talk to our veterans and tell them what it is that we're doing and why it's so important for us to honor them.
I think it's important because if we don't tell you, how do you know? And there are millions of us who really appreciate everything you do every day. We appreciate your service, and we just want you to know that we really appreciate you. And you haven't been forgotten.
Thank you, Gray. Charles, thoughts for Gray?
Well, what would you tell just the average person that, in other words, you've stepped out from the crowd, you're willing to say thank you. What would you give that advice then to other people who may not have served, but how can they show their appreciation?
In any way that they can, and this parade is the first publicly sponsored parade I heard on the news, and I just think it's important. I wish there'd be as many people here as are out to the rodeo parade and the St. Patrick's parade and everything else, because this is certainly a lot more important than those.
Exactly right.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Well, I want to thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
And as an honorary Marine, I want to thank you again. And I appreciate you, sir.
I'm glad to be here.
All right. My name is Ken Dawson. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. Charles is a Navy veteran. And VFW is an outstanding organization, and a whole lot of people that don't know a lot about it. Could you tell us what you can about it relative to the veterans or American people in terms of the great services that you provide our veterans?
Sure. I'll have my wife.
Okay. The VFW and the VFW Auxiliary provide everything from helping you find a home to helping you find a job. I also am with Chase Bank, Chase Vets, which is a veterans organization that we work with the Wounded Warriors in giving homes, which we're presenting today also.
Excellent.
But the VFW and American Legion is for veterans, veterans' families, veterans' children, just getting involved in the community and with anything that we can do with them.
Excellent, excellent. Your thoughts in addition to that?
I just love the fact that whenever we get a chance, we'll have chili cook-offs, any kind of fundraisers where we can raise money to add to the VFW's coffer for the vets, help the families and the vets, particularly and their families. We do that, bi-yearly, really, raise money any way we can.
Exactly. I noticed your POW MIA hat. Charles and I both have one. We have so many POWs MIAs. Your thoughts and the POW MIAs, those that, who knows how many we still have alive, even from Korea, even from World War II, we might still have some. Your thoughts in that regard?
Well, my personal thoughts is we're never ever going to give up looking for them. One way or another, we're going to find them and bring them home.
Exactly.
And my uncle was a POW in Vietnam.
Really?
He went into 68, came out in 69, 7. But fortunately, he was one that did come home.
Really?
And from that day on, I've been supporting my POW cause in any way I can. Because, I know how it felt, even at my young age, how it affected his mom, dad, sisters, my grandma, grandfather, waiting to hear where he was at, when he was coming home, how he's doing, no news.
Exactly.
And when we did find out that he was coming home, the elation and everything on their faces, just him coming home, then I can understand how it is with the families that are still waiting.
Exactly.
That's why I personally will never stop doing anything I can to help the cause.
Just to get them closure, in a sense of we're doing all we can.
That's correct.
Our video is going to active and veterans all over the world. Share with our veterans or active military your thoughts on what they're doing for our country and any messages you'd like to send to them.
I couldn't say enough. My father being a World War II veteran brought us up being patriotic. I love you all, miss you all, want you all to come home, but thank you. And thank you's not enough and never been enough.
to say to you for all that you've done?
Man, I thank you for all your freedoms and everything you've allowed us to do, past and present. And hopefully one day the generations will understand why they're able to do what they do here in America, because the men and women that sacrificed everything, you know, for us to be out here today doing what we're doing here without any, you know, someone telling us what to do. You know, because of them, this is why we're free. This is why this is America. You know, and hopefully they'll never ever take that for granted. You know, generations from now, things like this will keep them understanding why they're free.
Charles,
Lori, I hear that we've got some parade coming down the street, so I wonder if you could take just one more moment. Chase is doing some wonderful things, as you already mentioned, about trying to hire the vet. What would you tell the future employer of why they should hire a veteran?
To hire a future veteran would mean a whole lot, because they've sacrificed everything for us to be able to do what we do, as my husband stated. They're very strong-willed. They're very dedicated to what they do. Once they get into a job, I mean, that is their job. That is their life. And they know what that's all about.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.